Welcome to It All Starts With You. I'm your host, Eileen Lemelman, licensed clinical social worker, best-selling author, and motivational speaker. We'll share stories of hope, perseverance, and success that will inspire you to live a meaningful life. This show will motivate you, educate you, and encourage you to manifest your dreams into reality at any age. Because it all starts with you. Now on to the show. Hello. Hi there, my friends. Welcome to It All Starts With You. You know, women have a really complicated relationship with money. Well, it doesn't surprise me because, you know, through civilization, through history, women have had little power. So, of course, we have really a difficult time with dealing with money because we were never given money to use. So, but, you know, I will say that over the last few generations, things have changed. Things are changing. And, you know, women are becoming more autonomous, earning more money, and really having to learn how to deal with and handle and really get comfortable with money, which is a very difficult situation for a lot of people, and women especially. But, you know, we can't really talk about money without looking at where we came from and our homes and the parents that really brought us up and the mindset that we had in our families. I know for me, my parents were post, World War II. They were Depression era babies. And so they always had a scarcity mindset. We were always told, that the whole thing in my house was, we can't afford it. Or, oh no, we're not going to have enough money to buy that. Or, that's too expensive, we can't get that. And so there was always this feeling of, worry about money and a lot of arguing about money. There was always fighting about money. And then, of course, we have to look at how did our mothers handle money, right? So, women and money, I don't know. In my family, my father earned the money. He gave my mother an allowance. He paid the bills. And so if she overspent or if she spent too much in credit cards, there was always fighting. And so there wasn't this positive mindset around money. No wonder why me, along with a lot of other women in my generation, and even just in other generations, have a really difficult time dealing with money and having a really healthy, relationship with money. Well, today I decided to invite somebody who can help us with all of that. So today my guest is Brett Landsman, certified public accountant. He is with the firm Palermo, Landsman, and Ross down in Fort Lauderdale or Cooper City, South Florida. And he's here to help us talk about and get comfortable with and learn about how we can really approach money in a healthier way. He deals with all different kinds of audits and IRS and corporations and all different kinds of really high-end things having to do with money. But he also deals with the average person like you and me and helps them deal with their issues around paying taxes, around how to save money, around real estate investments, around life changes. And so it's really good to have an expert, really good to have someone educated and has an expertise in money. And so let's welcome Brett Landsman.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Brett.
Hi.
So listen, it's good to have an accountant in the family. All right, there's a little bit of nepotism going on here. This is my very sweet and adorable son-in-law, and he has agreed to come in not only because he loves me.
Yeah. Yes, that's number one.
But because he's got a lot to offer and a lot to say about how we can start having a healthy relationship with money. So Brett, what's the first thing that you tell somebody who comes into you and is overwhelmed with their finances? They don't even know where to start. What do you do with them? How do you deal with that?
So it all starts with you, the name of the show. And so when someone comes into the office, or we do a Zoom call or teleconference, it all starts with the client or potential client. And I just take it slow with the client to unwind exactly what the client's going through. You have to have a lot of empathy too. You have to have a lot of understanding of where someone's at, the relationship that they have with their significant other, with money, where they're at, if they own a business, if they don't own a business. And so I kind of do a lot of digging on the initial meeting, and then as I work with clients, for me, it's the relationship with the client, and I want it to be a long-term relationship.
Yeah, so that makes you really special because, somehow empathy and accounting don't always go together. So that makes you really special because you really want to know not only, look at the, profit and loss statement or, what's going in and what's coming out, but how they really are emotionally dealing with their money, right?
Yes.
People come in with a lot of fear, don't they?
Yes. When you have the, because there's, if you're married or, with somebody, you have the significant other, and then there's a silent partner called the IRS. It's the third person, that's the elephant in the room that no one talks about. And so I help, try to steer you clear of that third partner and keep as much money away from that third partner as much as possible.
So how do you help people, set up that kind of an approach where, obviously they're going to, do what's by the law, but they're going to be saving money and they're going to have this budget or this overall approach to how do they save money? How do you do that with them?
So I've found, as far as saving money goes, there's a great book. I highly recommend it. I've read it multiple times. It's called The Automatic Millionaire. It's by David Bach. And, pretty much the essence of the book is to, set all these vehicles up automatically so you don't see it. So, if you're employed by a company and they offer a retirement plan, just set that up automatically where it comes out of your paycheck and it goes into the retirement fund. You don't see the money, you don't get the money. And other retirement vehicles can be set up within a business that you own or another type of retirement account. But setting all these things up in advance, if you have children and you have a college fund that you want to fund for them, and all these things come out of your bank account and fund these things on a monthly basis so that, at the end of the day, you have the retirement fund, you have your kids going to college, you have the wedding fund for your kids down the line. So it's more about what your vision is of what you want your life to be like and what you want where your money to go.
So that really works very well if you are working for a company and you get a weekly kind of salary. What about somebody who's self-employed and has to really set that up for themselves? How does that work?
It's a lot more dedication, especially when you're starting a business. Because a lot of entrepreneurs want to they want to keep the money in their business. They want to reinvest it. They want to buy stuff, and so having like an advisor like me and having multiple other advisors like a financial advisor and maybe even an attorney to help set up structures where funds can be set up in this automatic structure, maybe having like an operating account and then having separate bank accounts for taxes, for trips, for various things, and you just don't touch those accounts until you're going to go on that trip, until you're going to go pay your tax bill. So these things are kind of aligned.
Yeah. As you're talking about that, I'm also thinking about how people have this guilt about spending money, right? And so even though you might set aside money for a vacation account, people feel guilty about spending money.
Right.
What do you say to that person who is always saving and then has this real kind of charged feeling around money and spending money?
I think, for me, I like to work hard and play hard, and so I love, taking my family on trips, and we've gone on vacations as a family together, and so I think it's what you value, and you need to, I think people need to, they're not clear on what they value, and so they feel bad because they really don't enjoy going on the trip. They'd rather work, and they listen to other people. Oh, well, you shouldn't go on that trip. I think you have to do what you really want to do, but you have to examine what that is for you.
I love that. Just finding your values.
Yeah.
And also, we're talking about balancing a checkbook and also balancing your life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How do we balance that all so that we can work hard, save money, feel secure, but also enjoy our life?
Yes. I don't think people know. I think balance is a word that's thrown out a lot, and I think people need to sit down, and it's hard to do, but you have to create the time in order to create financial freedom. And I created this formula because I love formulas and math, but and if this has been created before, I apologize to anyone out there that's created this, but I define financial freedom as your self-worth plus your monetary worth. That's equal to financial freedom. Because if you have no self-worth and all financial worth, then all you have is financial. If you have all self-worth and no financial worth, then it's just freedom. Yes. So you need both to go side by side. And so if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't feel good about where you're at today, you're not going to enjoy the money at all. The most I've had very wealthy clients, and they're the most miserable people in the world because they can't enjoy the money because they don't.
That's true.
They have had some trauma in the past that they haven't dealt with. It's really deep down inside. So, in order to enjoy it and have the money, you have to. It has to be kind of that formula. You have to see which light and work on getting both that side of the pendulum up.
Do people respond to that? I mean, can you teach that to somebody?
I talk. I don't like spell it out like that in the formula, but I just when I talk with clients, I kind of do a lot of encouragement and just listen. A lot of it's about listening. I mean, I've had some clients, come in and there's a fear, they're overspending, and the spouse is concerned, and sometimes you'll find out that spending on certain items makes that person happy, and this is why the debt's been created, and you have to dig deeper than that, and but I only have a short window to really kind of shake the person up to see their reality and kind of change it, for the better.
You have to wake them up and say, "This is the reality, buddy."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
You have I recommend 3 to 6 months of reserves, and you're on 3 to 6 days.
Yeah.
And so that will shake somebody
Ooh,
up,
yeah.
And so, and that's where when you go into that conversation, someone said, I'm like buying kids toys, and that's the only thing that makes me happy.
Right.
And I'm,
But what about the person who is more my age, right? And who, I don't know what the formula is for having enough savings for when you retire, but let's say, you realize you don't.
Yeah.
What would you tell that person? How would you help that person to save for retirement, or can they ever retire if they haven't done it by age 60 some odd years old?
It's a possibility. It depends on the person, and I think a lot of people, they don't really know how much they need to save in order to live the life that they want to live. I think people have, unfortunately, that self-worth part of that equation I was mentioning before. That self-worth it lowers because you're comparing yourself to other people. And so
say that equation again.
The self-worth plus monetary worth equals financial
I
freedom.
love that. That is so awesome. That's
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah, and
you
so
should definitely coin that phrase.
yeah, hopefully any viewers, please wait until I go to the patent office and trademark office to take care of that one. But no, I appreciate it. But yeah, I think people don't know what they really need to save, the exact
Yeah.
number. How many trips do you want to take per year? What is your rent? How often do you want to go out to eat? And it's and that formula is not, oh, well, I should only do this. It's do the math as if this is exactly what I want. Then you back into, okay, I'm spending $100,000 a year, so I need to make $100,000 a year, or I need to cut back if it's not realistic.
Right.
And so, that's, I think people, they have the emotion side, math's not emotional.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But, like I said earlier in the show, if you haven't been taught that as a child, and you don't have a good relationship with money, and you don't really even know how to deal with it, it's really hard to start doing that.
Yes.
Talking about not doing things and having a difficult time, I'm really interested about women who become widows or recently divorced and have always depended upon their husbands to take care of the bills and to take care of all the finances. And suddenly they come to you and they say, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Do you ever have that experience?
No, yeah, we have that. I mean, one thing I'll say is, a lot of the clients, I work with a lot of business owners, self-employed, and the women that I work with, I've seen like a shift, the shift that you were talking about earlier in the show, of really strong women that they almost lead, they're the quarterbacks of the financial situation in their household. And it's motivational for me to witness that. And, when clients, look, there's an unfortunate thing, divorce is, makes up a big part of our culture, unfortunately. And obviously, it's death and taxes are the two certain things in life, and so there is a fear. I mean, the one thing that that can help prevent that is to have the documents in place, like a will, or if a trust is appropriate, healthcare documents, and getting that, having your spouse and you have a discussion of, here are all the logins for the banking, here's what no one wants to talk about those things, but you'll leave each other in better hands down the line if these things are taken care of, so sometimes.
A lot of people don't want to talk about that because they don't want to talk about death, right?
Yeah, they don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to look at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, do you have somebody that you work with that you would refer to them?
Yeah.
Refer them to if they need to get will made or a trust made?
A lot of great people, out there that can help. I mean, I help identify, just by, I'll ask, hey, have you gotten your documents done? Have they been updated? And, and then you go from there.
Yeah. So, a lot of this is not only about helping people walk through the process, but you're also, like I said earlier, you're teaching them what they need to do, because some people are really ignorant about it. And it's not because they're stupid people, right? And there's something that I learned when I was like preparing for you to come on the show. So there's IQ, there's intelligent quotient, how smart we are, and book knowledge and how much we know, and what is your IQ. Then there's EQ, which is my specialty, the emotional quotient, about how we're going to deal with our emotions, how we're going to deal with our feelings, how much insight and awareness and connection that we have. But then there's FQ, right? There's the financial quotient, which is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Did you ever hear of that?
No, I never heard of that. I've heard of IQ. And I have a medium IQ. And then
I don't know. I don't believe that.
But I've heard of that. But that's an interesting thing to break that.
So
out.
in other words, money management, and happiness, how do they intertwine?
I think they collide for sure. They collide, as I see it every day. But I think you have to have awareness in order to have. And you also have to take the awareness and responsibility to take the step forward that you need to, like, go through the finances. And sometimes it's overwhelming because, a lot of us, we've all been given gifts, and some people are just, I don't want to think about it. But taking responsibility over your finances will propel you forward to enjoying the things that you want to enjoy in life, and it'll give you peace and comfort, and those emotions versus stress and resentment and a lot of negative feelings.
We're talking about responsibility, stepping into like adult stuff.
Yeah.
Adulting is
Yes.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so people may be coming to you and they're really childlike. They don't know what they're doing with their money.
Yeah. And they'll, I'll have newlyweds who got married, and husband or wife had a tax debt that, they owed $100,000 and they didn't know about it. Or they had, businesses that were going bankrupt and secrets and all these things. And so communication is such a foundational piece to financial freedom too.
Yes.
And so you have to have a communication with your significant other and get them involved in the process when
And
you
you have
start
to have
combining.
good communication
Yeah.
with your accountant too.
And your accountant too, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Because have you ever had somebody come in and then you find out a secret that they didn't tell you?
Oh yeah, it's been, it's it's revealed together. It's I reveal it. It's not a fun situation, and I don't mind being the bad guy. I prefer the IRS to be that, but sometimes I have to play that role. But the goal of being the bad guy is to get the situation resolved and to move forward. I just want to see clients move forward, and a lot of people, it's like, I go back to that formula: self-worth plus monetary worth equals financial freedom. The self-worth, if there's a bad relationship that you have with your significant other or yourself, you're never going to take the responsibility to move forward, and you'll be stuck.
Yeah. So here we are in June.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like this lull time, right?
Yeah,
Because we had April 15th, where, is the big push to get it done, but then people sometimes have extensions.
Yeah.
And then we have to, deal with the extensions in October.
Right.
So in June, though, what should people be doing in order to prepare either for the extension or just for the next year? Because they've gotten through, April 15th, and now what do they got to do? What do they have to do to prepare?
So if people have already filed their taxes, I would definitely look at if you're employed, I would get a year-to-date pay stub and see what your taxes have been pulled out, see what's been taken out of your paycheck and what you've earned to date, and run some math to see what what the projected tax bill is going to be, and see if you're covered there. Because a lot of times I see people that don't withhold enough taxes, and then they get the big surprise come April 15th. So I definitely would recommend looking at your bill. Your pay stub.
What if you don't have enough money to pay your taxes?
You could set up like a payment plan with the
Okay,
IRS. I mean,
okay.
Penalties and interest accrue, but you could run a payment plan until
Okay.
you pay it off. But the goal is to not get ahead of it, so you don't have
Right.
that. And then if you have a business, looking at where the finances are today, seeing, what you can do to save taxes now. You have 6 months left, so you can make big purchases. You could set up a retirement plan now. And then that's for the business side. On the personal, you can just take 1 month's worth of bank statements and credit card statements. If you haven't run the exercise at all of I don't know how much I bring home. I don't see the money. I don't know where it's going. Just pull the bank statement and credit cards and categorize everything out on an Excel sheet, a piece of paper, whatever your preference is, and it doesn't even have to be fancy. And you'll see incoming and outgoing. And you can see that's not even tax. That's just personal finance. And then you just take 1 month and you could see, okay, I may need to dig deeper. I have had this automatic subscription service that I don't even use anymore, and it's still coming out of my bank account. I could save $1,200 a month, something like that. So,
what's the advantage? I'm just thinking about the advantage of coming to somebody like you, as opposed to the corner tax preparer.
Yeah.
What is the advantage?
The advantage is, the firm, our firm has, 50 years experience. So you have a lot of different clients we've worked with that with experience working with clients in various states, our state of Florida, throughout the country and world. And it's more of a proactive approach. We're year round. We're not just H&R Block where you go to April 15th and file. That's a reactive approach because everything's already been done. You've already earned the money. This is you have a relationship with somebody that it's like a doctor almost.
Yes.
You could spot things and stop it before it spreads. Bad things. So.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to wait till you have to give oxygen. You want to be proactive.
Yes.
And not only that, but you could tell after hearing me speak with Brett, that he takes a real personal interest. He's empathetic, he's sweet, he's kind. He wants you to have the best approach, the best, kind of chance at saving money, at spending money, at having money for retirement. And so, you want to develop a relationship with someone like Brett. So, Brett Landsman, this is your life.
Yeah.
No. What is your phone number that people can reach you at? How can people get you? How can people call you? How can they connect with you?
954 is the area code, 252-9622, and that's the office, our firm number, the main line, and you could ask to speak to me.
Yeah, so again, it's Brett Landsman. He's a CPA. He's in South Florida. He's here to help you. 954-252-9622. And we really wanted to present a show today where, you gained education, you gained knowledge, and we want you to feel comfortable that you can take care of your money. We want you to start to have a really good relationship with money because really that's part of happiness, as Brett said. It's part of happiness is really creating a good, healthy relationship with your spending, with your saving, and with learning how to deal with money. So, as you know, everything that you do is really in your hands. And even the money situation is in your hands. You know why? Because it all starts with you. And we will see you again next week.
Palermo, Landsman, and Ross is a full-service tax and accounting firm located in Cooper City, Florida. For over 35 years, they have been assisting clients worldwide with solutions to assist clients with income tax planning, bookkeeping, consulting, and complex accounting issues. With constant tax law and rule changes, you need a competent, professional, and responsive accounting firm to have your back year-round. Please visit www.plrcpas.com to learn more about Palermo, Landsman, and Ross and the services they offer.
Eileen Lemelman is a highly experienced licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist, offering 30 years of insight into the healing of trauma, anxiety, and depression. With a patient and individualized approach tailored to every client's needs, Eileen leads her patients on a journey of self-discovery and healing, with the goal of ultimately achieving balance, joy, and fulfillment in life. No matter how old you are, it's never too late to live a passionate, happy life. Eileen is ready to support you on your journey to healing. Contact Eileen Lemelman today at 631-988-8453 to schedule your appointment today.